Right, what's up, yo? Today I'm gonna talk about UFOs, aliens, and my own personal experience with, I guess you call them aliens, whatever. So, first of all, I'm gonna say I think this year, 2025, is gonna be the year of disclosure. I think that they're gonna reveal a lot of things about just things they know and things they honestly don't know. And from my own research that I've seen on videos and articles and stuff about the UFOs, is that I think the government knows a lot of things, but I think there's also a lot of things they don't want to admit that they don't know. So first of all, I'll go over my own personal experience, which is took place back in I want to say like 2012, 2013, something like that. And so me and my friend were driving down, I think it was like 50th, around 50, 56 in Columbus, somewhere around there. And it was late at night. We were leaving a bar. It was my friend G. Um, and we were leaving a bar and we were coming home. And it was probably like 2, 3 in the morning. And I stopped at a red light and I seen like a blue light, like just floating, hovering, whatever, right above this tree. And the light was like it was blue and it was very like kind of, I guess, like luminescent. I don't know how to describe it. Like it was just a light. It wasn't like a spaceship or anything that I could see. It was just a light, and it was very. This all happened within like 10 seconds, less than 10 seconds probably. So I look at the light, and it's like somehow it knows that I saw it. It's like when you make eye contact with someone. It was like almost like that, but it was so far away. But somehow I swear it knew that I saw it. And then it just went boom, like into the sky faster than like the speed of light. Faster than anything you could think of. Like, I don't know. Like I've seen some videos of UFOs where they do that now. But anyway, so when I was watching, when I was looking at that and that happened, I turned to my friend G, and he had the same look on his face. That there was like he was scared of something. Like he had a terrified look on his face. Like I know he saw the same thing that I saw. So you know, what the hell? Oh, that's Amazon. But yeah, so he saw the same thing that I saw. And that's how I knew I wasn't hallucinating, because, you know, we both saw the same thing. And ever since then, I've never forgotten that. So, that has kind of what made me a believer in these sorts of things. Now, do I believe it was an actual, like, it wasn't like a spaceship or anything, like a saucer, like the classic saucer that you see. But it was definitely something that I have no explanation for. Like, it couldn't have been just like some light or some, because the way that it was like a connection. And then my friend saw the same thing, and he was just as puzzled, like, what was that? And I have seen videos on YouTube of something like similar to it. If you ever get a chance, I think it's like a blue orb. It's kind of like a blue orb. That's what they call it on YouTube. They have that, and that's kind of what it looked like, similar to that. But So, now I'm going to talk about my theory of what all this is about. A couple of theories, right? Because I don't know, I'm not, I'm not sure what it could be. But, I've heard different things. And one thing I heard was um, from a video about Bob Lazar, where he was talking about um, these documents that said humans were containers, and that always struck me as an interesting thing because it was like it was these religious documents that he said, and Bob Lazar mentioned that in the documents it said humans are containers. Doesn't say containers for what. But my theory is we're containers for consciousness. And consciousness can be a tool to kind of self preserve life. If you have a consciousness, you can kind of plan ahead. Whereas most animals are kind of just like they're relying mostly on instinct. So consciousness could be kind of something more advanced than your instincts. Your instincts are going to tell you, hey, you're hungry, go and take some food, or hunt animals or something, right? But your consciousness is going to tell you, hey, let me get together with other groups of people and let's start a farm or something, or let's, you know. So I think consciousness is something that's very unique, you know. But anyway, yeah. And then there's a lot more videos I want to do about this, but that's one of the main ones was the humans are containers. And then they had another one about if you ever get a chance, look up the trumpets in I forget what year it was quite a while ago. It was like 10 years ago. Everyone was hearing these trumpets around the world, and in the Bible it says when you hear trumpets, the world's gonna end and all that, right? So my theory about the trumpets was that this is gonna sound crazy, but they could be like spaceships that are invisible. you know, like you're here because it doesn't really sound. It sounds like trumpets, but it sounds like more like machinery. Very loud machinery. And think about it. Where could they be in the sky? If they're in the sky and they're invisible, which I think most UFOs are invisible. I mean, we have invisibility. I'm sure they do. So, um, they could be invisible giant fucking ships just floating above our heads, you know? So, I don't know. There's that theory too about that one. That's one of my theories about that video. If you ever get a chance, look up the trumpets. That's a pretty interesting one. People are hearing trumpets around the world. It's pretty wild. And then with all the disclosures going on now, obviously, I don't know what to think of it. It's kind of suspicious, of course, but it's also kind of logical to think because if people are gradually awakening to this, then you kind of have to disclose it, right? I mean, I'm sure people are gonna get ahead of it. Powerful people that don't have the best interest of the rest of the world, you know, they're going to try to get out ahead of it and try to manipulate the story and all that stuff. So we do have to be careful what we believe and what we don't believe, but I think there's definitely something out there. I mean, there's just too many stories, man, of just people seeing things. There's no way, like, because if even one of these stories is true, right? People see, then that kind of leads validity to all the other ones, because then it kind of creates this precedent of like, okay, so there is something out there. So now you can't be like, oh, well, that's just ridiculous, because it's never been seen before. But now, if it's true, if one of them is true, then they all could be true. You know, of course, there's gonna be hoaxes and guys that are, just whatever, fucking around, trying to, scam people. But I think there's definitely something out there. I mean, the two best documentaries that I've seen was the one in Brazil. I can't pronounce the name, but it starts with a V. That one was really good. And then there was another one that I really can't remember now, but I think it was in shit, I really can't remember it now. I mean, there's a lot. There's the Battle of Los Angeles. That was an interesting one too. If you want to look into that, that was a crazy one, because that one, this was basically like in, I think, like right before World War II or during World War II, something like that. And there was this giant thing in the sky that everybody was shooting at. Now you could say maybe it was just an allude, like a aerial phenomenon, like, they saw something that was harmless, something that wasn't even really like, just a natural phenomenon. But I don't know, like I said, if one of these things is true, any one of these events are true, then it kind of lends fidelity to all the other ones. It makes all the other ones seem more legit. Because then you think, well, maybe all these other instances are true. And then you had the guy from Nashville, the or Tennessee. He's a politician. I forget what his name is. I know his first name's like Tim something. He said that he's talked to people about the fast movers, which are basically, underwater UFOs, that in the Navy they call them fast movers. And, he believes, and he said this on the news like a week ago, that there might be underwater alien bases. That's crazy. And the thing is, these kind of things don't get enough recognition because I think people just don't want to be seen as crazy. It's either people don't want to be seen as crazy, or it just isn't like relevant, in a sense of like, either it's weird with the alien thing. It's like it could be completely relevant and change everything we know, because I mean, you could see it either way. You could see it as the most important thing in the world, like they could have the answers to everything, or you could look at it like, well, it doesn't really change your life, right? I mean, you still got to go to work, you still got to, pay the bills, you still got to do what you got to do. So what does it matter if there's any? And maybe most people probably assume they've been around already, But my opinion is it's very important, because it's like being in a zoo. That's the way I feel. I feel like I'm in a zoo. If there's really aliens out there flying around, then we're just basically like zoo animals, just living here, and they're just kind of observing us. Oh, that's the other documentary. Other good documentary that I really recommend, probably the number one, is UFOs and Nukes. That one's a really good one, and it's pretty crazy too. It's on Amazon, and check it out. They talk about just UFOs going over these sites, these military sites, and it just and these are credible people, man. These are not people that are just like random guys that are just looking for their 15 minutes of fame. These are guys that were in the military, and these guys were working at nuclear facilities, so they had to be vetted mentally, you know, to be able to work at these places. And they're coming out saying that they've seen these things. This is probably the most credible witnesses you could have. So there's definitely something to it, and that's a real that's actually the best documentary there is. UFOs and Nukes on Amazon. That is the best documentary. Um, and yeah, I mean, what else? What else can you really ask for besides actual, video proof? Which technically there is that too. It's just, do you believe it or not? But there's also been government officials from Israel that have said that aliens are real and the governments are communicating with them. Same thing with Canada. You could look that up. Um, I mean, there's just so much evidence, in my opinion, that you can't help but at least wonder. At least be agnostic. You don't have to be a full-fledged believer, but be a little agnostic, a little open-minded, and say, "Hey, I don't know. There's something out there." And there's a lot of theories. There's the dark forest theory, which means that it's pretty scary, but basically that which this one I don't really believe, but that there is basically a malevolent force in the universe that is basically destroying all life, or conquers all life, kind of like the same that we used to do back in hundreds of years ago, the colonizers. And that's why we don't hear any communications from anybody in space. But that really doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Like, I think they would have, like, if they were visiting us, they probably either would have warned us, or they would have already took us out already. I think, really, my opinion, my theory is that I think we're an experiment, and I think that we are meant for something. Like, we're destined for something as human beings. I think we're destined for more than just eat, work, sleep, repeat. I think it's a spiritual thing. It's, if you look at every religion, they talk about peace, love, understanding. Whether it's Jesus or Buddha or Muhammad or whoever, they all talk about peace and understanding and love. That's pretty much what every religion teaches, and just about elevating your spirit. So I think that's really what it's all about with these ETs, and I think they do have bases in the water, in the ocean. It makes the most sense because in the ocean, it's, and credit to, I think it was Neil deGrasse Tyson or somebody said it. They were like, well, it makes sense because the water is always the same on every planet. It always has the same freezing point and the same boiling point. So you could go to another atmosphere and it's like super hot or super cold, but the water is always going to be the same temperature because water can only be maintained in a watery state at a certain temperature. So it makes perfect sense that water is where you would want to live. And also, water is, you can't, like, you had to be an advanced, like, we're not even really advanced enough as human beings to go deep into the oceans. We're still not advanced enough. So I think until we reach that level, they probably don't want to communicate with us. That's probably like a test, it's like a litmus test. Like, litmus test is where it's like, you have to pass this this level to be able to communicate with us, to be worthy, so that too, but I do believe that it's a spiritual war that's going on, and in humanity it always has been. There's good forces and bad forces, and they probably look at us as still like immature children to an extent, spiritually they look at us like we're still, giving into our sins. You look at the Bible, I mean, angels from the sky, come on, the Nephilim, the Watchers, all of that was like, it's very similar to what, would be aliens, so that's just my opinion. And I don't know, let me know what you think in the comments. And I'm gonna do some more videos. I'm gonna try to figure out how to do reaction videos or whatever that people do, where they show the video and then, I gotta get better at editing and stuff. But yeah, I'm gonna post some of those videos, especially the one with the trumpets. Definitely recommend looking that up, because those, to me, in my opinion, are probably like invisible spaceships. I know it sounds ridiculous and crazy, but just a theory. And then there's a couple other UFO videos that I think are really interesting that I'll post and comment on. So, all right, peace.